What would you do if someone offered to buy the rest of your life for cash? Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. 10 years from now, in the middle of summer, we'll finally be able to say from the bottom of our hearts that we're glad we lived. We'll prove those doubters wrong. By then, we'll be 20 years old enough to drink, smoke, and get married. Marriage comes earlier than that, though. Still, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. Why not? There's just too much about life that I hate. Same here. In that case, when we turn 20 and become famous, if neither of us has found someone we want to marry, would you want to end up together? You know, as two people left on the shelf? Huh? What kind of question is that? I'm kidding. Just forget it. I only wanted to hear myself say it, as if I'd ever stay unsold. Years later, under the blazing summer heat, after bowing my head and saying, "I'm really sorry," for what felt like the 19th time that day, I suddenly became dizzy and collapsed. Selling my CDs and books hurt more than I expected. Every one of them had been bought secondhand after careful thought. But at this point, my room didn't even have a television or a computer. They were the only things left that could bring in some money. "Hello, I'm here to sell some books." Are you moving? No, nothing like that. Then why do something this wasteful? Paper isn't exactly filling, doesn't have much nutritional value. I'm short on cash. It'll take about 30 minutes to evaluate them. By the way, there's something I want to tell you. What is it? You're desperate for money, right? It's not exactly a recent problem. I don't care why you're poor or how you got there. That's not what interests me. I just want to ask one thing. What is it? Do you want to sell some of your lifespan? My lifespan? Yeah, your lifespan. Naturally, I thought he was joking. I know how it sounds. You probably think I've gone senile. But if you're willing to entertain an old man's nonsense, go check out a place I'll tell you about. Then you'll know I'm not lying. According to him, there was a shop on the 4th floor of a nearby building that bought lifespan. The amount they paid depended on the life a person was destined to live. I don't know much about you, but you seem like a decent guy. You've got good taste in books. Besides lifespan, they'll also buy your time and health. What's the difference between lifespan and time? No idea. I've never sold any myself. A shop that bought lifespan sounded like nothing more than the fantasy of an old man nearing the end of his life. It was simply too good to be true. "Welcome." "Huh? What brings you here?" The man behind the counter looked at the CDs I brought and reacted almost exactly like the bookstore owner. After I explained why I needed money, he nodded. "In that case, I've got something useful for you. To be honest, I like your taste in music. Maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, but there's a shop in town that buys lifespan." It was practically the same thing the old man had told me. The difference was that this guy claimed he had actually sold some. Was making fun of poor people some kind of trend? "So, how much did they pay?" "Can't really talk about that here." Then he gave me directions. Needless to say, they matched the old man's perfectly. Before I knew it, I was standing in front of the building. I didn't truly believe their story. I figured there was some dangerous but high-paying job being offered there, one that shortened your life, and that was what they had really been trying to tell me. "Welcome. Your time, your health, or your lifespan?" "My lifespan. Your evaluation will take around 3 hours." The moment they mentioned selling lifespan, I remembered a lesson from elementary school. Adults always say that life is irreplaceable and worth more than anything else. But what if a human life actually had a price? One student once answered that a salaryman earns around 100 to 300 million yen in a lifetime. The teacher shook his head. Forget that way of thinking. Then he asked, "What if someone offered to buy the entire life you were going to live?" "If I sold it, I'd die." "Then what about half? What if you sold 30 years out of the 60 you had left?" That question stuck with me. The teacher asked everyone to assign a value to their lifespan. "There is no right answer," he said. Years later, at the age of 20, I would learn that there actually was an answer, because I ended up selling mine. While waiting for the evaluation, I estimated my life's value. At minimum, I figured it had to be around 300 million yen. "Mr. Kusunoki, your evaluation has been completed." I froze. I had never given them my name or any identification. Yet somehow they knew exactly who I was. 3 billion, I thought. Maybe my childhood estimate had been right after all. Then they handed me the results. What would you like to do? The number written there was far lower than anything I imagined. 10,000 yen per year. With 30 years and 3 months remaining, the maximum amount I could receive was 300,000 yen. 300,000? That was all my life was worth. Surely that's too cheap. Regarding your yearly value, you've been assigned the minimum rate of 10,000 yen. I stared at the paper. How do you even determine something like this? The detailed evaluations are done by a separate consulting body. I don't know the exact process. Then she explained. The value depends on things like happiness, fulfillment, contribution to others, dreams achieved, and impact on society. In other words, the value of your remaining years reflects how meaningful those years are expected to be. If I wouldn't be happy, if I wouldn't make anyone else happy, if I wouldn't achieve my dreams, if I wouldn't contribute anything to society, then where exactly was I supposed to find salvation? In the end, I sold all 30 years. I kept only 3 months. When I was a child, I believed I would become famous. I looked down on the kids around me. I lacked both the talent to achieve greatness and the humility to hide my arrogance. Naturally, nobody liked me. I always scored perfectly on tests, but there was one other person who could do the same, Himeno. We constantly argued over who was better, yet at the same time, we were the only people who could truly understand each other. Our families were close. We lived nearby. We had known each other since childhood. In other words, we were childhood friends. And eventually that led to the promise we made. When we turn 20 and become famous, if neither of us find someone to marry, damn it, I drank too much. You were evaluated here yesterday, correct? That's right. My name is Miyagi. Starting today, I'll be your observer. She had explained it the day before, but I barely remembered. Because my lifespan had dropped below 1 year, someone would now monitor me until the end. Can this wait until later? And just like that, the final 3 months of my life began. Understood. Later then. The best moments are still ahead. If you want part 2, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel.